December 13th, 2003. Ad-Dawr, Iraq, 8 p.m. Total darkness blankets the farmlands along the Tigris River. Special Ops soldiers, Task Force 121, move in complete silence. They are exhausted, on edge. The first two target farms were empty. It seems target number one, the ace of spades, has slipped away like a ghost again. Mission Commander Colonel James Hickey checks his watch. Time is running out. But tonight, they have a secret weapon. Not an advanced drone, not a spy satellite, but a terrified prisoner sitting in the back of an armored vehicle. The Fat Man, Mohammed Ibrahim, the head of Saddam's personal bodyguards. The soldiers pull him out. He walks toward an abandoned mud hut. He stops. He looks. And then he kicks the ground with the tip of his boot, a spot that looks nothing like a hideout. Just dirt, garbage, and an old rug. The soldiers pull back the rug. They clear away the dirt. A styrofoam lid appears. The lid is removed. The stench of rot and stale air rushes up from the earth. A black, vertical hole. Weapons are raised. Grenade pins are pulled, ready to fire. But a sound comes from the depths. Two dirty, trembling hands rise from the darkness. A man with a long beard and wild hair struggles to pull himself up. The soldiers freeze. This broken face looks nothing like the dictator on the posters. In English, with a voice that sounds like it comes from the bottom of a well, the man says, "I am Saddam Hussein, the president of Iraq, and I am willing to negotiate." Tikrit, Iraq, 9 months earlier. The war is officially over. The statues have fallen. America dominates the battlefield. But in the intelligence war, they are losing. The Pentagon deploys a simple yet ingenious tactic, the deck of cards. 52 high-ranking Ba'athist officials, generals, ministers, politicians. Saddam Hussein is the ace of spades. Thousands of American soldiers patrol the streets with these faces in their pockets. But there is a glaring problem. The hunt, despite all the arrests, has hit a dead end. None of the generals know where Saddam is. Inside a cramped, sweltering interrogation room at Tikrit Airfield sits a man who looks nothing like a war hero. Sergeant Eric Maddox, a low-level interrogator with bloodshot eyes from weeks of sleeplessness. He stares at the organizational chart on the wall, the faces of the high-ranking generals. Maddox steps forward and tears them down. He has a different theory. A dictator on the run doesn't trust his ministers. He only trusts blood. Maddox rewrites the strategy. He starts interrogating the invisible people. Drivers, cooks, gatekeepers, the targets the U.S. Army considered worthless. He begins mapping a new network. Red lines form across the whiteboard. All roads lead to a single route, the Al-Musalat family, Saddam's inner circle. Personal bodyguards, all from the same tribe. And at the center of this spiderweb sits an unknown face, a man on no playing card, Mohammed Ibrahim, the head of security. Maddox circles the name in red. The target has changed. The real hunt has just begun. Identifying the name was the easy part. Catching the Fat Man himself is a nightmare. Mohammed Ibrahim is like a ghost. Maddox changes tactics. If we can't find him, we find his family. The interrogations begin, but these are not friendly conversations. We are in 2003, the era of enhanced interrogation techniques. The heavy shadow of what would later be revealed at Abu Ghraib is felt in this room. Under this brutal pressure, a strange clue finally emerges. In the interrogation room, Ibrahim's son drops a seemingly insignificant sentence. "My father likes fishing. He often visits a fish farm in Samara." To an ordinary listener, it's just a hobby. But in Maddox's mind, a spark ignites. He remembers reports from months ago, the confession of Saddam's former chef. Saddam has an obsession with grilled fish, Masgouf. The pieces connect in Maddox's mind. Ibrahim isn't just a bodyguard, he is the provider. The trail of the fish leads to the trail of Saddam. Special forces raid the farm in Samara. Ibrahim is not there. He has slipped through the net. But soldiers corner one of his close relatives at the farm. The man is detained. The interrogation is swift, violent, and high pressure. Everyone has a breaking point, and this man breaks. He gives up an address. Baghdad, an ordinary apartment in the busiest part of the city, the last place anyone expected. It is Maddox's final hours in Iraq. His bags are packed. His flight home is tomorrow morning. He has one last shot. Special forces raid the Baghdad apartment. Several men are detained. At first glance, Mohammed Ibrahim is not among them. All faces are unknown. In a desperate final attempt, Maddox pulls one detainee aside for a final interrogation. After hours of intense physical and psychological pressure, the man confesses. Mohammed Ibrahim was in the house during the raid. He is among us right now. Maddox runs to the courtyard. Prisoners sit on the ground, fabric hoods covering their heads. He rips the hoods off, one by one. First face? No. Second face? No. Third face? A heavy-set man. Terror in his eyes. Maddox locks eyes with him. The hunt is over. It is the fat man himself. Now, only one step remains. The location of the Ace of Spades. Here, history splits into two stories. The official U.S. narrative and Maddox's memoirs call this a clean victory of psychological warfare, a promise of $25 million and safety for his family, a win-win deal. But looking back at the images of Abu Ghraib, accepting this clean story is hard. We are in an era where enhanced interrogation techniques was code for torture. Was the war's biggest secret really revealed just through conversation and promises? It seems unlikely. The pressure goes beyond words. The pain is real. And under this pressure, whatever it was, the fat man's resistance shatters. He looks at the soldiers and says, "I will show you." The convoy moves out. Destination? A farm in Ad-Dawr. The circle is closed. We are back to where we started, the spider hole. But why here? To understand, we must rewind 235 days. Baghdad has fallen. Saddam Hussein is now a homeless fugitive. He knocks on the doors of old friends and tribes. But the fear of American retribution is stronger. One by one, they turn him away, rejected by his own inner circle. As a last resort, he turns to the Namik family, a humble farm belonging to his own tribe. This is the exact same farm where Saddam hid as a young man in 1959, after a failed assassination attempt on the Prime Minister. Contrary to the American media narrative, Saddam was not living like a rat in a hole. For 235 days, he lived in a small, simple room within the farm's hut. The spider hole was only for emergencies, a panic room built by his host, Allah Namik. This wasn't a simple pit. It was a vertical bunker. Depth, about 2 meters. Walls, reinforced with brick and cement. Interior, extremely tight, the size of a coffin. The entrance, a styrofoam lid camouflaged with dirt and weeds to blend perfectly with the ground. Air, a single small plastic pipe to bring oxygen in. It was built for survival, not for living. Whenever American patrols got close, Saddam would grab his Glock, slip into the hole, and wait in the darkness. Once they passed, he returned to the hut. He was not a passive fugitive. He was still the commander. Every day, listening to BBC Arabic radio, writing poetry, and most importantly, drafting orders to direct the insurgency. His only link to the outside world was one man, Allah Namik. Allah was his cook, his barber, his bodyguard, and his courier. He carried the dictator's messages to the resistance commanders and brought back the replies. But even the safest systems have a weakness: trust. Weeks before the capture, Mohammed Ibrahim, the fat man, visited the farm for a meeting. He was the head of security, but even he didn't know about the hole. During the meeting, Saddam left the room for a moment. Ibrahim seized the opportunity. He asked Allah, "If the soldiers raid us, where does the boss hide?" Allah, with complete trust in Saddam's top protector, made a fatal mistake. He described the underground hideout. He pointed out the exact location. He revealed the secret that Ibrahim would later sell in an American interrogation room. Because of that betrayal, they now know exactly where to look. The convoy halts in silence. Operation Red Dawn begins. 600 soldiers surround the perimeter. Delta Force operators storm the hut. They tear the room apart. They check the walls. They sweep the orange grove. Nothing. Minutes pass. Tension spikes. Is the intel wrong? Has the bird flown? The operation is teetering on the edge of a humiliating failure. In the moment of desperation, the commander plays his ace card. The back door of an armored Humvee opens. Mohammed Ibrahim is pulled out. He doesn't need a map. He doesn't need GPS. He walks past the confused soldiers. He heads toward a blind spot in the yard, near a palm tree. He stops. He looks down, and without a word, he kicks a pile of dirt and garbage with his boot. A spot the soldiers had walked past a dozen times. The soldiers swarm back. Now, they know exactly where to look. The dirt is swept away. The old rug is pulled back. A white styrofoam lid appears. The gate to hell. A soldier pulls the pin on a grenade, ready to drop it into the hole. But suddenly, a voice comes from the depths. "Don't shoot! Don't shoot!" Two dirty hands rise from the darkness. The soldiers grab him. They haul him out like a sack of flour. A man with wild hair and a bushy, unkempt beard. He blinks in the harsh flashlight beams. He has a Glock 18 pistol tucked in his waist, but he doesn't reach for it. Total surrender. A soldier seizes the weapon. This gun will later sit as a trophy on George W. Bush's desk. Saddam dusts himself off. He looks at the soldiers and says in English, with a voice that has lost all its power, "I am Saddam Hussein, President of Iraq, and I want to negotiate." The Special Forces commander's reply is short and humiliating. President Bush sends his regards. Suddenly, the discipline breaks. Not from the Americans, but from the Iraqi interpreter, a man who fled Saddam's regime years ago. Now, facing his old tormentor, he snaps. He lunges at Saddam, punching him, screaming at him. U.S. soldiers have to physically pull him off the fallen dictator. Those punches, were the symbol of a nation's suppressed rage. With the situation under control, Saddam is rushed to a waiting helicopter. The bird lifts off. The physical hunt is over. Capturing him wasn't enough. The U.S. Army knows they have to break the myth. They need to turn the Lion of Babylon into a pathetic old man. The war of narratives begins. P.S. YOPS teams deliberately release the most humiliating footage possible. Saddam Hussein being examined by an American doctor, mouth open, like an old horse having its teeth checked. A medic checking his hair for lice. The message to the world is clear. He is not a monster. He is just human, and he is finished. The next day, Paul Bremer takes the podium and delivers the famous line.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
December 30th, 2006, Baghdad. Dawn on the day of Eid al-Adha. Saddam has been sentenced to death. The execution chamber does not feel like a state proceeding. It feels like a mob revenge. As the noose tightens around his neck, there is no silence. Guards are shouting sectarian chants, mocking him in his final moments. The trap door opens. The drop. The story of the strong man of the Middle East ends at the end of a rope. His capture was a masterpiece of intelligence, betrayal, and technology. But the result? Iraq did not find peace. Saddam's fall opened the gates to chaos, civil war, and the rise of ISIS. The spider hole wasn't just Saddam's grave. Perhaps it was the grave of a region's stability. What do you think? Was his fate the result of his own crimes? Or was he just another victim of betrayal? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until the next video.